I mean, journalism is broad. There's a lot of different stories you can cover. Like, what made you push in the direction of predators? I know it was supposed to be originally a one-off story.
Right,
originally,
exactly.
And then it took off. Like, what drove you to the story initially?
Well, I was always interested in investigative crime type stories, enterprise stories, things where we employed hidden cameras. And so when I learned about this online watchdog group, Perverted Justice, I started to think if we could use their ability to be decoys online and our ability at the network to wire a house with hidden cameras and microphones, it could be pretty compelling. So at the time, Perverted Justice would put decoys in the chat rooms, and if an adult approached one of the decoys posing as a 12, 13, 14, 15-year-old kid, obvious profile, and there was a sexual liaison plan, they would post this person's picture and identity on the website. Well, we took it a step further. We created a scenario where we would come face to face with this potential child predator and confront them. So we did so in Bethpage, Long Island, and I was driving out there and I wondered, did we just blow tens of thousands of dollars of the network's money and nobody is going to show up, which is always, if it was easy, everybody could do it, So we didn't partner or collaborate with law enforcement for that or the second investigation. And, I'm driving out there and my producer calls and says, where the hell are you? We've got 2 guys scheduled in 45 minutes. And, 2.5 days later, 17 guys had surfaced in that investigation, including a New York City firefighter. So the show kind of sat at the network for a minute. Yeah. And people were in the executive ranks trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? How do we do it? This is obviously phenomenally compelling material. I mean, stuff that has never been seen on television before. How do we do it? And I remember being in a meeting, and we shot this in February 2004. Now we're in late summer, early fall. And I'm sort of pushing to get this on TV. Yeah. And an executive looks at me and says, I just don't know how to promote it. And I, much to the shock of everybody in the room, I said, you know how to promote this? Here's how you promote it. There's a man on your back porch with his penis in his hand, and he wants to stick it in your daughter. Tonight, we're going to tell you how to prevent that from happening.
I don't remember that TV spot.
No, there wasn't a spot, but I was so frustrated at not getting it on the air.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Basically,
it's like, let me be as blunt as possible.
And I did it for shock value.
Marketing piece.
Yeah, and so, everybody's looking at me like, Hansen's finally lost his mind. and there was a collective, there was a collective, I mean, everybody was on, I'm being, sarcastic here and facetious to make a point, but everybody sort of understood, okay, it's time.
Sure.
We're going to do the best we can with this material. It's, pushes the boundaries of what you can put on primetime television.
It's a proceed with caution.
And so there was a legitimate concern. People weren't trying to hush it up or cover it up or anything. Didn't mean to insinuate that. Everybody wanted this to go on TV, and so we did it, and it had quite a response. And so we did it again, and the third time we collaborated with law enforcement, and some of the cases were prosecuted in the first 2 investigations, but at the end of the day, these guys would walk out the door. And so it wasn't really the most socially responsible way to proceed. Mm-hmm. And from a television production standpoint, it was rather unfulfilling to see these guys walk away, even though in some of the cases they were later prosecuted. So we did from then on, and up until, including the new investigations we're doing now as we speak, we collaborate with law enforcement. And it's the only responsible way to do it, really.